Stagnation is death. If you don't change, you die. It is that scary. It is that simple. This is a quote by Leonard Sweet. Good morning. My name is Pia McAdams, and I am an author. I'm also an accounting professor and a certified life coach. I specialize in personal and small business finance and also fitness. And I want to welcome you to Transform Yourself in 15 minutes. This is where we're doing 5-minute exercises, one each for the mind, the body, and the soul. Now for this mind section, I want you to understand two things. Number one, this is going to be a lesson that's only going to take you 5 minutes to learn, but it's going to take you a lifetime to master. And the second thing is this. I want you to understand that I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm just here to help you unlock what's already within inside of you. And as you can imagine, we are furthering our discussion on change. Okay, so that quote may not have been too sweet, but it's actually true, because if you're not willing to change, how do you expect your life to change? Okay, so we're going to be talking about change. And keep in mind, if you're just joining me, by the way, welcome. And thank you for joining me. Thank you for those that are taking the time to watch this recording. But we're talking about change, and we're discussing a book called Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. So now we're in a story where the main characters, Sniff and Scurry, they've already out, when we left off, they've already went out in search of new cheese. But him and Ha, when they went to cheese station C and there was no cheese, they were just him and Ha, and so they left home that day hungry and discouraged. Well, now we're in a part of the story where it's the next day and they come back expecting something different, and guess what? It wasn't. There was still no cheese there at cheese station C. So I want you to ask yourself this. And remember, this book is more about asking yourself questions, like deep pondering questions. So why is it that you're resistant to change? Okay? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it loss of security? The lack of security, the loss of control? Is it what is it for you? And understand that, for the first part, your first rebuttal may be, I'm not resistant to change. I always accept change. But if you think about it in your life, there are times when you are resistant to change, and sometimes it's going to really affect your life. So these are the times I'm talking about. For the most part, you may say, well, I accept change. Well, I'm pretty sure when it's a positive change, you're accepting of it. For example, one of the colleges that I teach at, they recently put out an announcement that they were going to change the way that they do their pay schedule. Like they have some kind of weird, odd pay schedule, and they're going to start going to just a bi-weekly pay schedule. Well, that's the kind of change you're like, okay, yes, I'm happy. I'm okay with about. You're not going to be hemming and hawing about that. That's going to be like one that you accept the change, or particularly me, right? Well, there's another time where there was one of the colleges that I teach at, and if you're not familiar with the platform, it's called Blackboard, and it's basically an online platform that helps you, with the books, and in other words, everything's online. It's a platform you use to access the things from the class, the materials from the class, But anyway, they changed from one platform into another. And then for that one, that requires learning the whole new platform in a short period of time. And there was another time where they changed books. And when they, like that one, I was probably more like hawing on that one. But when they changed book, I was more like kind of like, not necessarily hemming, but I literally was kind of hemming, because I had just spent like hours and hours of doing outlines for the chapters of the book, and then all of a sudden they changed to another book. So in other words, there are times in your life where you are resistant to change. And I can go on and on with me, but this is more about you and asking yourself the questions. Why is it that you're resistant to change? All right. Now, now we're back to the story. So again, him and Ha, they returned to the cheese station C that next day, and there was no cheese. And so, they're still looking around, and they're still like in disbelief, and still feeling entitled, and, just hoping things were going to change, and hoping that the cheese is going to fall out of the sky. But as you can imagine, it didn't happen. So at one point, Ha inquires about Sniff and Scurry, like, I wonder where Sniff and Scurry are. And so him responds by saying, well, why do you care about them? They're just mice. They're simple-minded creatures. They just respond to what happens. Then he goes on to say, we're little people. We're smarter. And so then Ha kind of responds like, okay, but we're not acting that smart. And so Ha even suggested that maybe we should stop analyzing the situation and go out and find new cheese. But him was still in denial. He was adamant that he was not moving. He was going to stay there and just him and Ha about what happened to the cheese. And as you can imagine in the story, Sniff and Scurry, by this time they'd gone around and they were able to sniff out, because their goal was just to find cheese, that was it. And so they were able to go and find a new cheese station inn that had not only cheese but an ample supply of cheese. Okay, so I kind of want to ask you again, what is it that you would do, what you do if you weren't afraid? What's really hindering you? All right, so keep in mind again, when we're talking about this hemming and hawing and who moved my cheese and sniff and scurry, we're actually talking about listen to change. So I want you to ask yourself those, two questions. Number one, why is it that you are resistant to change? And then also ask yourself, what would you do if there was no fear? Okay, because these are again, profound questions, and we're talking about transforming yourself. And transforming yourself is going to require change. And guess what? It's actually requiring one of the hardest things to change is you. Okay, because to think about it, if you, like for instance, I've talked to a lot of people, and they're, hemming and hawing, or just questioning a lot of things that's going on in their life, for one thing or another. But the common denominator in all aspects of your life, no matter if it's your emotional, your physical, your spiritual, your relationships, your financial, no matter what, you are the common denominator. So if you want to see change happen in any of those, and particularly all of those scenarios in your life, guess who you have to change first? Yes, you. So you got to first, admit about what it is that you need to change, and find that about that, and then inquire about what would you do if there was no fear, if there was no doubt, if there was no lack of security. What would you do? And I guarantee you, you start pondering on this and then be open and willing to change, then great things will happen to you. All right, so that's going to be it for our discussion today. And I hope that was very enlightening to you. Hopefully it was one to give you something to ponder about as you go about today. And as things happen throughout the day, because remember, I'm not saying that you're always resistant to change, but when you are, and then for the big things, that's the ones that we're really talking about, the things that's going to really affect your life. All right, so we're going to be moving on now to the movement portion. This is where we're going to be doing some yoga. Yoga is about the mind-body connection, and we're going to go inside and see what's going on. We're going to make some movement. All right, as I continue to walk down here, and then immediately following that, we're going to address the other area, the other part of us, which is going to be the meditation. All right, so with the meditation, again, this is the part that I really want you to, be patient with yourself, be kind, be loving, be gentle, because yoga is a practice, just like meditation is a practice, just like yoga. So you got to be patient with yourself. Understand that when it comes time to do the meditation, it's not about clearing your mind, okay, or clearing your thoughts, because that's just not going to happen. We have over 70,000 thoughts that go through our mind throughout the day, and that's just a sign of having a healthy brain. I'm pretty sure that you want to have a healthy brain. But one of the purpose of meditation is more so that you can actually focus on other things besides those thoughts. So in other words, the thoughts will be there, but they won't be at the forefront of what you're doing. It's a time for you to just kind of and I don't want to say clearing, because there's told you can't really clear your mind, but just more of like focus on your breath, and then so that the thoughts are not just overwhelming what's going on in you. So it's like a quiet time, and you're actually able to get to that quiet space where you're able to get, whatever it is that you need, the answers that you're asking for. And you're not so, again, focused on your thoughts. So we're going to be doing a meditation that's designed to do that. So more so quiet in your mind as opposed to clearing your mind. Okay, so there's a big difference on that. All right, so remember these next two sessions are going to be, hi Jeff, good to see you. Thanks for joining me this morning. So keep in mind that we're, for this next session, for the yoga and then for the meditation, these are practices. So yeah, you can sit here and watch me, but you're not going to get much out of it unless you join me. Because remember, this is about transforming you. So by watching me, it's not transforming you. This is time for you to do the movement. And I know for some of you, you may be at work, or, if you're on the East Coast, yeah, you're probably at work or on your way to work. So again, when we talk about this transform yourself in 15 minutes, these 5-minute exercises, for you, take 15 minutes out of your day to do something particularly for you. All right, and even if you don't do it like when I'm doing, like if you're watching recording, that's fine. Or if you even have to break it up, because remember we talked about taking little small bites. So for instance, you can do 5 minutes like in the morning. Let's say you're saying, I don't really have time to do the yoga. So then maybe in the morning you do a meditation. Maybe in the afternoon when you're getting stressed, you may want to do some yoga. And then in the evening, you may want to, do the mind portion where when you go to bed, you have something positive that's on your mind. break it up, mix it up how you want to do it. Just do something for you is what I'm saying. 5-minute exercises. 5 minutes is all it takes. Mind, body, soul, every single day. Even when I'm not on, 5-minute exercise is all it takes for you to make transformations in your life. All right? So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go. I want you to join me on the mat, and let's go ahead and start off in extended arm child's pose. So let's do child's pose with extended arm. But as always, before you get into the pose, I want you to ground yourself by taking 3 deep ujjayi breaths. And remember, when I'm saying ujjayi breaths, for those of you that are new, ujjayi breaths is when you're breathing from your diaphragm. So as you're inhaling, your abdominal is going to expand outward as the diaphragm moves its way from its original position upwards towards the chest cavity. And your chest is going to also rise. This is as you inhaling. And then as you exhale, your chest is going to collapse and your abdominal is going to go back in. Okay, so full diaphragmatic breathing. This is the breathing that we typically don't do. A lot of times when we're breathing, we more so breathe out of our chest. We don't do the full deep diaphragmatic breathing. So use that 3 breaths to get yourself centered and grounded. And if you're wondering, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. All right, so you're going to continue that ujjayi breathing throughout the practice of yoga. Then once you get yourself grounded, I then want you to set an intention. What is it that you want to accomplish for this next 5 minutes while we do this yoga practice? All right, so again, go ahead and join me on the mat. Get yourself centered in alignment, and I'll do the same. All right, go ahead and extend your fingertips and press them down into the mat. Getting a nice deep stretch from the fingertips all the way to the shoulders. Crown of head is facing forward. Getting a nice deep stretch in your spine all the way down toward the tailbone. Press your armpits down toward the mat. Then go ahead and flatten out your palms as you start to bring your body forward into tabletop. Now on the tabletop, you're on your hands and knees, and your palms are directly underneath your shoulders, and your knees are directly underneath your hips, and you're drawing your breath in with a neutral spine. And as you exhale, you're going to round through the spine, tuck the tailbone under to the cat position. And as you inhale, your head and chest comes forward, your belly drops down to the mat, armpits release toward the mat as well, and this is the cow. And then as you exhale, take it back up to the cat. Now, if you've been joining me for a while, you're pretty familiar with this cat-cow. And it's one of the ones I love to do first thing in the morning. Limbers up the spine, loosens up the core, and it just really feels good. All right, so go ahead and return to neutral spine. And then just go ahead and just kind of take your hips side to side. And again, at this point, what I want you to do is I want you to go internally inside of yourself and see if there's any strains or stress, any negativities, any pains, any tight areas in your body, anything that needs to be addressed. And then I want you to curl those toes under as you exhale and take it to Adho Mukha Savasana, downward facing dog. Now in this position, you keep your hands in alignment with your biceps, you press your chest toward your thighs, your knees. Let's go ahead and start peeling our legs. Go ahead and loosen up those hamstrings, get a nice deep stretch from the tailbone down to the hip, to the heels. And again, continue doing your ujjayi breaths, inhaling deeply through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. So go ahead and place those heels down. As we inhale, I want you to come up on the top of your toes. And as you exhale, roll down to the balls of your feet, all the way down toward the heels as you try to press the heels down to the mat. But don't stress or worry if they don't go down. Let's do that again. Let's come up as you inhale, come up on the top of your toes. And as you exhale, roll all the way down to the balls of your heels. The foot all the way down toward the heels. Again, as you inhale, come up on the top of your toes. But this time, as you exhale, I want you to take your hips over toward the right as you bend the right knee over toward the left. And you're pressing your chest toward that left thigh and knee. Feeling a nice gentle stretch over on the side, on that right side. All right, go ahead and return back to the center, and then take it all the way down. All right, one more time. Come up on top of your toes. This time we're going to take it, lean it over, your hips over toward the left as you bend the left knee toward the right. Press your chest toward that right thigh and knee. Again, a couple of good things I like to do in the morning because it just feels good. Nice gentle stretch. Breathe your way through it and then release down toward the heels. Now go ahead and walk your feet in toward your palms and try to keep your palms flat. So if you need to, go ahead and bend your knees. And then I want you to slowly round it up. Take it one vertebrae at a time. Making sure your head is the last to rise. And let's come to Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, so your feet are together slightly hip distance apart. You're going to pretend like there's some roots going down from the bottom of your feet all the way down through the mat, through the floor, down to Middle Earth. You want to lift up your chest, and then your head is a natural extension of the spine. Pretend like there's a string from the crown of your head attached all the way to the ceiling so that you're sitting up nice and tall. Your fingertips are down toward the floor, and we're in Tadasana, again, mountain pose. Now as we inhale, we're going to take our arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to dive the body forward. As you inhale, look up halfway. Flatten out the back. Stick out your tailbone toward the back of the room. As you exhale, you're going to release your palms down. You're going to step back, right, left into the plank. As you continue exhaling, you're going to release your knees, your chest, and your chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. And then you're going to inhale, take it to upward facing dog. Relax those shoulders down and away from the ears. And as you exhale, take it to downward facing dog. Again, Adho Mukha Savasana. Now I want you to step forward, right, left. I want you to inhale, take it all the way up. Exhale, dive the body forward. Again, look up halfway on the inhale. As you exhale, flatten out the palms. This time you're stepping back left, right. Release the knee, chest, chin, or again, Chaturanga Dandasana. As you inhale, take it up, relax the shoulders. And as you exhale, curl your toes under and take it back. Now I want you to go ahead and step forward with your right foot toward the fingertips. And let's take it down. Let's release the knee down, uncurl that toe, and let's do the low lunge. Now in this low lunge, again, you want to make sure that your knee is directly over your ankle. You're pressing your hips downward toward the mat. Your arms are extended overhead. Relax shoulder. If this is too much strain and stress, feel free to bring your palms together at the heart center and modify. Continue to breathe. Now take a nice deep breath on the inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to take the hips back. Release, straighten out that right leg, and then dive the fingertips forward. Relax the shoulders. Lift the kneecap to engage that quadricep. Now go ahead and bend the knee. Take the arm up again. As you inhale, press the hips down toward the mat. And then as you exhale, and then take your time again and use your breath. And be careful so that you're not sitting on the kneecap on that opposite leg. Not a lot of pain and stress on it. All right, so that one more time. Now this time I want you to flatten out the palms. I want you to take that right leg back, curl those toes under, and take it to downward facing dog. Now step forward, right, left. Inhale, take it all the way up. Arch back. Exhale, dive the body forward. And then look up halfway. Flatten out. Left, right. Chaturanga Dandasana as you continue to exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now this time we're going to step forward with the left leg toward the fingertips. Release the right knee. Be careful with that kneecap. Uncurl the toe. Take it up to the little lunge. Relax the shoulder. Draw the breath in. Extend the leg, straighten it out, and exhale. And again, relax the shoulder. And remember, it's not uncommon for you to be tighter from one side to the next. So again, be patient and be gentle, be kind to yourself. It's all about the movement. Use your breath. I want you to direct your exhale toward the tight areas, the strains, the stress that you may be feeling. Flatten up the palm, take the leg back, take it to downward facing dog. Now inhale to plank. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. This time as you exhale, knee, chest, chin, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale again. And exhale. This time you're going to walk your feet in. Again, keeping the palms flat. And let's forward fold in Uttanasana. Now in this one, for some of you, you may be up here, which is okay. You may have the tight hamstrings. Just as you inhale, hold your position, and as you exhale, just kind of surrender, and then release into the pose. Lift the kneecaps and micro knees. Lift the kneecaps to engage those quadriceps, give you a little deeper stretch in those hamstrings. Take your hands and your fingertips and clasp those elbows. Let the crown of your head bring your body weight naturally forward. Don't resist. Release. Now go ahead and release your fingertips down to the mat as you slowly take it up, one vertebrae at a time. Always making sure that your head is the last to rise. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, dive the body forward, place your palms down flat, step out toward the mat, right, left, or left, right. And as you exhale, release the tailbone down toward the mat. Bring those palms together at the heart center, using your elbows to push out on those inner thighs. Bow your head down in Malasana and give some gratitude. Again, I like to end in this position because it's a great way to open up the hip flexor. Start your day out, because a lot of times we spend most of our day seated with our knees pointing forward, which shortens up our hip flexor. So it's a great way to open it up. Now go ahead and release your palms down to the mat, then take them behind. As you slowly start to transition yourself into a comfortable seated position facing forward. Making sure that you're on your sits bones and not the fleshy part of your bottom. You're sitting up nice and tall. Chest is lifted, head is natural extension of the spine again. And as we inhale, we're going to take the fingertips up toward the sky. And as we exhale, we're going to release them all the way down toward the mat. Again, nice deep breath, inhaling and exhaling. One more time, giving nice deep breath, inhaling, bringing in all that positive energy. We're going to clasp our fingers to bring our palms together at the very top. And we're going to exhale all the way down to heart center. And namaste. Alright, so thank you for practicing this yoga with me. And now we're going to immediately move on to the meditation. So in this meditation, we're going to be doing a 2-minute exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to get ourselves centered. We're going to get ourselves grounded. And then all you're going to do for the next 2 minutes is you're going to breathe your normal breath. Okay, so don't try to manipulate it in any way, just breathe normally like you would. But I want you to count your exhales, starting with number 1. At any time during your count, if you become distracted either by external noise or internal thoughts, I want you to first acknowledge that distraction. And then I want you to return your focus back to your breath, but I want you to start your count over again at 1. Okay, so let's say you're counting and you get up to number 2 and you start thinking about what it is that you have to do today. Acknowledge that thought, what it is that you have to do, and then you're going to bring your attention back to your breath. Begin counting again, but again, you're going to start off with the count of 1. All right, so first let's get ourselves grounded. Take a nice deep breath, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Again. And one more time. This time as you exhale, go ahead and close your eyes. All right, begin counting. Go ahead and release, relax, return, refreshed, and calm. You've done something good for yourself. All right, I want you to take the time. I want to thank you for taking the time to meditate with me. And I want you to do that at least another time today. So please do that 2-minute exercise you just finished doing at least one other time today. I guarantee you start seeing phenomenal changes. And again, be patient with yourself. For those of you that only get up to count to 2 or 3, remember, it's more about training your mind to try to quiet it. It's not going to happen overnight, but I promise you, if you continue to stay with it, stay determined, stay intentional, and you will achieve the desires that you want. Now, your word for today is trusting. All right, I want you to have a trusting day today. Trust in yourself. And I will see you the same time tomorrow. Bye.